Now, you're with intelligence. How do you feel about the Muslim Brotherhood penetrating a lot of our agencies under the Obama administration?
Well, what's concerning is how much access they've had, the top echelons of our government. I believe, listen, in Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood won. I think we need to be very cautious about our relationships with them, but understand that we're going to have to work with them. Here at home, this is a different story.
Has this affected our national security, having them have close access to a lot of our detailed materials?
Well, I have not seen that they've had access to confidential or classified materials. I have not seen that. That would be concerning if it was.
But they are in Homeland Security.
Well, I'm just telling you, I have not seen that the Muslim Brotherhood has access to classified materials. That would fall in the purview of my committee. I have not seen it. I am not comfortable with the high level of engagement they have with our government. I would just be cautious moving forward. I just think that you'll see a change come November 6th when Mitt Romney's president. We'll get back on a course of understanding that we are responsible for threats both foreign and domestic. And I think that's an important thing to remember. What did concern me is the changing of the FBI materials. We're still doing a review on my committee to make sure that that was done appropriately and for the right reasons. I'm not sure we know the answer quite yet, but it certainly looks suspicious. The way that we are having a hard time calling the event in Benghazi a terrorist attack is a little concerning.
And Fort Hood is workplace violence and not terrorist.
And Little Rock is a drive-by shooting.
And the other problem is the Christmas Day bomber was a lone wolf, and of course we find out afterward it was nothing close to a lone wolf. That was a very planned, extended operation from al-qaeda, from al-Awlaki, who is in Yemen. So it is concerning if you do not label our threat what it is and understand the threat as it is, not what you want it to be, you're going to make mistakes. So I worry about not handling the Benghazi thing right. If you remember, the 9/11 Commission said the fact that the United States government didn't do anything about the December 2000 bombing of the USS Cole allowed al-Qaeda to feel emboldened to do more. What happened after that? 9/11, 2001 happened after that. So this notion that we don't want to call it terrorism because it doesn't fit a political narrative is very, very concerning, and we should all be worried about it.
Can you elaborate on the high level of engagement that you mentioned earlier with the Muslim Brotherhood here in the United States?
Well, again, the administration seems very eager to welcome in the Muslim Brotherhood. Some of it is questionable. The CAIR organization that they're affiliated with certainly has a questionable past, and you have to wonder why they're dealing with people who we know through the FBI investigations have identified some of these groups and some of these individuals as questionable, why they continue relationships with those kind of people. And those are questions that the Homeland Security Committee is working on, and I think we'll get to the bottom of. Now, again, my intelligence committee is not, we don't want our intelligence agencies spying on Americans. That would be an awful outcome. But we do want our Homeland Security, the FBI, and the internal folks that we have in the United States looking at these issues on top of it.
Now, has your committee had any luck getting the Holy Land Foundation trial boxes and boxes of information released?
Yeah, and it's again, that wouldn't be my committee because we deal with overseas intelligence agencies, CIA, NSA, and those agencies. And again, you don't want those agencies spying on Americans. I think that'd be a bad idea.
Unconstitutional.
Yes, exactly, and we ought to make sure it's separate. But the Homeland Security Committee, I know, is having a difficult time trying to get those materials, and it's been a little frustrating for them.
Why? How has it been frustrating?
One question on Benghazi.
Yeah.
This ship, this Turkish ship with arms from Libya going to the Syrian rebels around the time of the attack on the consulate. Do you think it's tied together? The ambassador was meeting with a Turkish diplomat on the night that he was attacked. And do you think that part of the cover-up is to cover up the fact that we were actually letting these arms get into Syria for the purposes of helping the rebels to topple the Syrian regime?
Again, I think that the Turks have been involved in delivering weapons in Syria for some time. The Qataris have been involved. I believe the Jordanians, probably the Saudis. So you have all of those weapon shipments that were going in, and part of that is there's no U.S. leadership. Not that we should be engaged on the ground, but without U.S. leadership, we don't know where those weapons go. We don't know who gets those weapons. So it would not be out of the pale for the Turks to be engaged with Libya separate from the United States. I don't believe they're today. As an intelligence chairman, I will tell you, I do not. I think what happened was you had all of this stream of threat information prior to the 9/11 event that killed our ambassador.
Right.
Then you had it happen on 9/11. It clearly was a military-style attack, and I just think that the administration didn't think it fit their political narrative that they were beating terrorism and it was over and they had won because they killed Osama bin Laden. I think they made some really bad decisions after that, and my job is to review that intelligence, and it contradicts some of the statements made of the certainty that this was about the video and a protest that never happened.
The myth about the video started in Cairo when our embassy's walls were scaled in Cairo and the al-qaeda flag replaced our flag in Cairo.
Yeah, serious problem.
Those people were saying it was because of the video. Then the administration turned around and saw what was happening in Benghazi and said, oh, it's the video.
Now, there's clearly no relationship here, and they doubled down 9 days later after clearly the intelligence didn't support that assessment and used U.S. taxpayer money in Pakistan
$70,000
to go on national TV in Pakistan.
It had nothing to do with the movie.
With the movie of which they had not seen.
Right.
Very troublesome. And I think it showed that after that it caused a huge problem. I mean, we had tens of thousands of people hit the streets after they went on TV because they didn't know about the video until they went on TV and talked about
it. And they're probably rioting because they can't find the video.
Yeah, well.
Will there be a completed investigation about Benghazi? Do you think it'll ever go anywhere?
Well, I mean, I'm doing a thorough review. I'm a former FBI agent. I'm not going to stop until the facts take us to the conclusion of the case.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Question. You had said that the administration made a series of bad decisions.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. I think they elevated the video to a presidential level internationally, which caused problems. That gave a permission slip to al-qaeda and Iran, other bad actors around the world to try to use that for their own propaganda purposes.
Yeah.
I think that helped cause problems. At one point, we had as many as 20 embassies under protest or under siege all across the northern Africa and Middle East. That's a huge problem. Then they went on and used taxpayer dollars in Pakistan to advertise that we had nothing to do with this video that they probably hadn't seen in large numbers, which caused more riots, more problems, more protests in the streets of Pakistan. So I think those were really bad decisions, and we spent all that time, and we still don't know who the perpetrators are, where they are, and we have not brought them to justice. That is an important part of this. We need to get beyond that. We need to identify who did this and hold them accountable. Otherwise, we're going to have problems at other embassies and expose our other embassy workers and ambassadors around the world to danger that they should not be exposed.
Right now, based on the intelligence that you've seen, those attacks, the 20-plus attacks between the Middle East and Northern Africa, do you believe that those were coordinated?
No, I don't. I think I do think they were spurred on by people who were trying to take advantage of the fact that they had elevated this video to a national standard. Well, al-qaeda, we believe, is part of it. Certainly governments, certainly political parties who are anti-American and trying to endear themselves. All of those are probably a part of those. And they weren't attacks, they're protests. Some were more aggressive than others. But it just clearly showed that there was chaos brewing all across the Middle East as they were stumbling around trying to say anything other than it was an act of terrorism and we should deal with it.
And some analysts have been saying that was actually the Muslim Brotherhood and their allies going out on a test drive to see if they could actually coordinate terrorist activity in 20 different countries. And then going into Hudna and then reliving that attack or rescheduling it at their discretion at a future date when it suits their purposes.
Yeah, I have not seen any intelligence from my perspective that would corroborate that, but it clearly I think, fan the flames of the problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.